Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second module of this AI certification. In the first module, if you recall, and you should look at, of course, the first module before you get started with the second one. Yes. In that first module video, we had looked at how LLMs work, some internals of it, understanding that they are probabilistic systems. Yes. And how are they trained and so on. Yes. We were looking at a few examples towards the end of that video using the Gemini tool that Rutgers offers. And in this video, we are going to do much more of that. Yeah, we are going to look at prompting and reasoning, how to prompt effectively, essentially, and how to make sure that that you can work effectively with large language models, and you can make the large language models uh, produce desirable results. Yes. So that's what we will look at in this video. Yes. Let me, oops. Okay, let me get started with a few terms which might not have been clear from the first video, but which is important to know. Yes. So one is this concept of context window. Yeah. So this is essentially like when you are having a conversation with Gemini or ChatGPT or anything else. Yes, you open a new chat. Whatever you put in the chat, whatever Gemini responds back, all of that is called as the context, yeah, or the context window. Yes. Now, modern LLMs have some limitation of how much text can go into one context window. Yeah. Now, they are actually quite generous in how much text can go. Okay, so Gemini can process up to 1 million tokens. Like again, if you're thinking of tokens as words, that's fine. So you can think of the order of 1 million words. This is huge, yeah. Meaning you can sort of put a whole content of a whole book, okay, inside of one chat window, yeah. Or if you are doing coding, for example, you can put a very large code base, yeah, inside of that one chat window. Yes, and that makes these LLMs quite useful, yeah, to process things that and understand things that you wanted to understand. Yes. Now, okay, this is fine. You can put a book, yes, but I should warn you that 1 million tokens is not enough to put a library. Yes, a library of books. Yes. So be a little aware of what this means. Okay. What I will also show you is that as the context becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, the LLM's performance becomes slower. It is slower to respond back. Okay, that can be annoying sometimes. Okay, but generally it's okay. Yeah, generally it's okay. So that's the context window. Another thing that I'm going to repeat from the first video is the idea of retrieval augmented generation. Yeah. So again, from I had mentioned this in the first video. I'm just repeating it because I'm going to show this how this works in Gemini. Okay. So again, this is based on the concept of having a retrieval system. Yeah. Which is a sort of a wrapper built around the large language model. What this does is this retrieval system is able to understand stuff that you prompt it with. So here you are prompting it with what is the latest advancement in solar panels, and it will decide whether to retrieve information or not. Okay. So it might go and search on the web because Gemini is supported at Google. It can do a very good web search in the background. Yeah. So the LLM has nothing to do with this web search. Yeah. This is web search happening using Google's other technology. Yeah. Or if you upload a PDF with the latest information about solar panels, Google will read that PDF, extract the text, and put all of this retrieved information either from the internet or from your PDF into the context window. Yeah. So remember, context window is this whole thing this whole context of conversation that you're having with the uh, large language model, yeah, with Gemini in this case. It will put that, okay, it will not be explicitly visible to you, yes, but then the LLM will respond to your question here with a nice looking response. Uh, so this response is what you will see. Yeah. So you will see this response. Yes. But you will not see the retrieved knowledge that went into the context window. Okay. You'll not see this. Okay. But the LLM uses this retrieved knowledge, whatever went into the context window, and appropriately frames the answer using the knowledge from that was put into its context window by the retrieval system. Okay. So these things are used very often. I mean, if you are a regular user of large language models, you have already used these. Yes. So let's look at some of this. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, let me keep these. I want to show like Google. So this is where we had stopped last time. Yeah, we had done this deep research about the state of the auto industry in US, and it generated a very nice report. Okay, it's still available. You can see it. Okay, this is what we had done last time. Yes. But now I don't want to use this deep research tool, so I'll start a new chat. And in this new chat, what I'm going to do is um a few things, yes, that I did not show last time, but it's a sort of quite intuitive and obvious, yes. So here is another ability to do in chat, which is called uploading of files. Yeah, you can upload files. These files could be images, it could be PDF, and so on. Okay, and or you could add it from your Google Drive. Yes, when you add a file, suppose I upload a file. Yes, I upload maybe this PowerPoint itself from which I'm doing the presentation. Yes, I uploaded that, and then I could ask questions about the PowerPoint. Yes, what topic are these slides about? Okay. So now what will happen in the background is retrieval augmented generation. You will not see that. Okay. What will happen is the text from this PowerPoint will be extracted. Okay. And put into this context. You will not see that thing being done. Okay. That's all happening in the background. Yes. That is what is happening in all this analysis part. Okay. And then it says this is about Rutgers AI certification course and so on. Okay, so it gives me the details of what is the topics in these slides. Okay, so as you can see, you never saw the text being extracted from this PowerPoint and put into the context window here. Yes, because all of that has happened in the background. In the background, Gemini has read the text that is contained in this PowerPoint. And this reply that you obtained here is on the basis of that. Okay. Uh, so here the analysis is very simple. Okay. I will show you a little bit of complex analysis also somewhat later. A few points about the Gemini that's accessible to us in Rutgers is if you do a new chat, you see I did a lot of, not a lot of chat, but some chats here. Okay. That my list of chats is growing. Yes, I. But the other thing that I do not have an ability of is, and because this is configured by the administrators in Rutgers, to delete a chat. Yes. What that means is if you keep on making new chat, it will make a lot of them, and then this list will go enormous, and it might be difficult for you to find out where you were and so on. Okay. I think the list gets automatically some chats get deleted after some time, but I don't know the exact policy. That's something that you can figure out from Rutgers IT administration. Okay. So that's one thing. Yes. Whereas if I go to chat gpt, my personal chat gpt. So this is my personal chat gpt. Yeah, here it has a similar interface, but I can go and sort of delete chats. Yeah, I can delete a chat and so on. Okay, so I can keep this list of chats to be small. Yeah, so that I don't have to bother too much about something. Okay. uh, Also, another thing I want to tell you is that if the chat context grows very big, yeah, this is one of my chat windows in chat gpt. Yeah, very similar to Gemini, so it's nothing different. Okay, that this is a really long chat. Yeah, it has a lot of things. Okay, the responses produced by the LLM is huge. I have asked a lot of questions and this is very huge. Yes, once I told you that once these things become big like this, it starts responding slowly. Yes. So if at the end I ask it a question like maybe let me just ask a simple question. Yeah, how I don't remember exactly what this chat is for. Okay, but how are you? Yeah. So I asked it a simple question. It takes some time to respond. Yeah, it's not that fast. Yeah, this is a very simple question. It should have responded very fast. Yes, it takes some time to respond. It has still not responded. Sometimes now it you got the response. Okay, but if you do this in a new chat window, you will get the response immediately. Okay, so a very long context window like this can slow down the responses. In some extreme cases, where the context window is really long, your browser will hang. Okay, it will not even respond at all. Yes. So it's very important, therefore, to keep things organized. Okay. So when you are doing a new chat here, uh, you should ask things that are about one topic. Yeah, do not change the topics in one chat window. As well as do not let the context become huge. Yeah, otherwise there are various issues of performance, of like slowness that comes up. Okay. Okay, so that was a few things about the Gemini tool. Yes. A few other things about organizing your chats. Yeah. This is also present in Chat GPT. Okay. Rutgers, of course, offers you a paid version of ChatGPT, yeah, the EDU version, the education version. Yes, you can. If some of you are paying for that, the same kind of features are available there. Yes, what you can do is in at least this Gemini interface in Rutgers in ChatGPT, these are called projects. Okay, in Gemini, these are called gems. Okay, so if you click on this gems thing, there are some sort of standard things here, but you can create your own gem. Yes. And what is a gem? Yes, so that's a good question. So again, if I mean there's sort of no description here. Yes, but the no description doesn't mean you cannot learn about it. Yes, you can ask about it, maybe using the guided learning tool. What is the gem feature in Gemini? Yeah. Uh, and it will tell you something. Okay, gems is a feature that allows you to make custom AI experts. Okay, you can define a persona, you can upload some knowledge files and so on. Okay, they have some pre-made gems. Okay, so it's essentially like what is a project in ChatGPT. Okay, you can create your sort of own secluded like a Gemini instance. Okay, for which you can give it a certain persona and so on. So I created already one here called job application. So let's see what this is here. So here you can give a name to this gem job application. That's fine. You can give it an instruction. This instruction is the one that creates the persona, yeah, or gives a persona to this instance of Gemini. Yes. So here I told um, this instance of Gemini that you are an assistant helping a Rutgers Business School student to apply for jobs in the tech industry. Okay. So you have to be very precise here. You have to specify which industry and so on. If there is a specialization within the industry, you have to say all of that. Yes. So I said you have knowledge about the job application process in Rutgers Business School. and you are an expert at creating cover letters, resumes, and other material tailored towards specific companies. Yes. The student CV is added to your knowledge base. Yeah, where is the knowledge base? It's right here. Yeah, so right here I added my own CV. Okay, so that's, I'm not a student, yes, but fine. Okay, I didn't find a student CV to add. Okay, so I added just my CV here, and then I can start using this gem and start asking questions related to it. Okay, so when I start asking questions related to it, then this instruction that I gave here is what is called as a system prompt. Yeah, meaning this is the prompt that sort of invisibly goes to this instance of the LLM. You don't see it. Okay, uh, but then when the LLM, this is the first prompt that goes to the LLM. So then the LLM sort of sets itself as a helper assistant, trying to help you to get jobs. Okay, and it also has access to the text in your CV. Yeah, because that's something that you uploaded, and then any question you ask on top of this will be answered along with all of this in the context window. Yeah, the instructions as well as the text from your CV. Okay, that will enable Gemini to give good answers for the questions that you ask. Okay. So again, just in ChatGPT, this thing is called projects. Okay, so it's a similar thing that you can do in ChatGPT also if you are using ChatGPT. Okay. Okay, so that was just a little bit more about how you can structure your chats and stuff in Gemini. Yes. Now we are going to talk about a number of prompting techniques. Yes. Now here I have a list. Yeah, it's a big list. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. It's not just one slide. There are a few slides of such a list. Yes. Uh, Now I don't really want you to memorize this. Yeah, because today there are some sort of heuristics, some techniques that go into making a good prompt that might change tomorrow. Yeah, Gemini comes with update, a new model, things change. Okay, same with GPT. Yeah, OpenAI might come up with a new update. Yes, but there are some broad principles here which I will highlight when I'm going through these. Okay, that's the thing I hope that you all can internalize. Okay, because those things are sort of the more crucial, important things that are not going to change from one model to the next version of the model. Okay, so let's get started with this. Okay, so let's start with this. Yes, so here I'm presenting a table. It's a big table. Yes, uh, the leftmost column here. Let me start my laser pointer. The leftmost column here is, or rather, laser pointer. Yeah, the leftmost column is some sort of a description of the technique. Okay. Uh, the column after that is an example of what would be a weak prompt, a style of prompt that you should not use. The column after that, the middle column here, is an example of what would be an improved and a nice prompt that that's the style you should be using. Yeah. And this is the column after that is some explanation of why this middle column prompt is better than the one to the left of it. Okay. And then there is another column saying what can go wrong. Yeah. Which is essentially saying that, okay, even if you have an improved prompt, sometimes you might get a vague answer from the LLM. Yes. Sometimes it might not respond properly, and it's also saying the reason why. Yes. So what we are going to do now is we are going to explore these prompts one by one. Yes, the weak version and the improved version. Okay. So let me do that. For that, I'll have to go back to the Gemini tool. Yes. So the first technique here is called the technique where there is a role, okay, and an instruction and some steps and some expectation. Yes. So this rise is a sort of uh, a framework that it's not like a universally accepted framework, but it's a framework that some people proposed, okay, for how to prompt LLMs. Yes, R here stands for role. I think I stands for instruction, S stands for step, and E stands for expectation. Yes. Again, this is not something to memorize. Yes, but what this is roughly saying is that if you are for example, asking for a cover letter to be generated for a marketing job, yeah, uh, if you write something like this is quite vague. Yeah, this is the weak prompt. Yes, so that's why it's better to prompt the LLM so that it can do a good job at it. Okay, so the first thing that it can be often done, particularly if it is required, is to give a role to the LLM. Yeah. So that's what is happening here. Act as a hiring manager. This is the role that's given to the LLM. Yes. And you have to provide some context and some instructions. Yes. So what is the context here? Yes. Hiring manager for what? Yes, for a entry level, okay, marketing role. Yeah, this is not a senior level marketing role. This is not a mid career marketing role. This is an entry level marketing role. Yeah, and therefore you are asking the LLM to act as a hiring manager for it. Okay, why I ask the LLM to act as a hiring manager for it? Because if it does that, it is more likely to generate a better cover letter. Okay, now you give the job description also, give it the whole context. Yes, why not give the job description? Okay, you will have the job description from wherever you are fetching the job information. Yes, you paste that here. That paste here is supposed to be replaced with the actual job description. Okay, then you specifically say, okay, you want a cover letter. Yes, how many paragraphs? 3 paragraphs. Yes, see, this is very precise language, tailored towards this role. Yes, okay. Uh, and then you can also give it some stylistic instructions, and so you can tell it that be professional but friendly, okay, and highlight your teamwork and communication skills. Yes, okay. In fact, for this kind of a prompt, if you could attach your CV to the prompt, that would be make it even better. The LLM will have access to your CV, okay, and from which it can extract some examples of teamwork or communication skills, like if you participated in some debate, something, okay, or something like that. Yes, these things, of course, should be mentioned in your CV, yeah, for it to know about that. Yes. Or if these things are not mentioned in your CV or resume, yes, if you just have a one-page resume, yeah, you may not have space to put all the details. You can write some things after this prompt, yeah, uh, to give that information to the LLM about your teamwork and communication skills. Okay, so this is of course why it works. It gives the model a very clear perspective, and it tells who is the audience here, a hiring manager, and what are the expectations, yes, that you expect, like you want a professional letter, okay, and so on. Okay, now, of course, the flip side of it is if you give too much details about the role, it can make it the answer very stiff or like very specific. Yeah, if for example this job description is giving too much details about what you need to do in your job, then this cover letter might become very specific to those aspects only. Okay, which is not also something that you want in a cover letter. You also want to show that yeah, you can do specialized work, but you also have a broad view of the whole of marketing industry. Yes, so that's something that can happen. Yes, but fine. I mean, you will see later on that you can revise these things also. So those are some techniques that we will come to later on. Okay, where this could be used as a first draft, and then you can revise this later. Okay, so I want to just show you as an example what would happen if I use the weak prompt and the improved prompt. Okay, so let me do this. Let me get rid of this markup. Okay, I will start the Gemini thing here, and in fact, if you are using Chrome, you should be able to split the window into two. Yes, okay. You see, I was able to split the window into two. And in both the split windows, I have opened a chat. Yeah. In both of these, I have opened a chat. Um, and I'm going to put the same, I mean, one of them, I'm going to put this weak prompt. Let me put it here. Okay, when you directly paste it from PowerPoint, it actually tries to paste the image. So I'm going to do paste and match style. And now this is the weak prompt. Yes, it helps to tailor to a specific role. However, the template below is designed to be hybrid. So it generated something very generic. Yeah, it also identified that you are not sort of giving it the specific role. Yeah, so I mean, there's not much information for it to generate a good cover letter. Yeah, and so it generated a generic one. Yes. Now these things are probabilistic. Yes, this is something you should remember. So I can ask it to redo it. Yes. So let me ask it to redo it. Yeah. When I ask it to redo it, it generates not exactly the same text, different text. Remember, this is all like probabilistic. Yes. Then it says again, I have created a versatile template. Okay. It doesn't tell me that I did not provide a role and all. It tells me something different. Yes. And if you keep doing it, it will produce things which, according to whatever it thinks is the best. Yeah. In one of the cases where I was trying it earlier, it actually produced three templates. Yes, saying that you choose whichever you want to choose. Okay. So you see, this is not desirable. This is not what you want. Okay. If you get something like this, you'll have to sort of struggle with the LLM again and again. Instead, let's try the more detailed prompt. Yes. So here I gave a more detailed prompt. Okay, again, when you copy paste from PowerPoint, it starts pasting as images. So I'm going to do this. So job description. Yes, I don't really have a job description. I will say the designing ad campaigns online. Yeah. So I just put a small description based on whatever little I know about marketing. Okay. But if we get this, of course, this job description in a real world will be much longer. Yeah. It will be like a full 3, 4 paragraphs. Yes. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So here it gives somewhat, it doesn't sort of start, it directly gives you the letter because it understands what you're given. I mean, you're given decent information, enough information for it to be directly producing a good quality letter. Yes, so it produced a good quality letter, exactly three paragraphs as you had said. And, and it also has some suggestions, yes, how you could sort of make this even better. Yes. So, of course, what you can also do is you can let me see if this works. Okay, put this in Canvas. Yes, without explicitly using the Canvas tool from here. Let me see if it can put this in Canvas. So it has organized this, quick tips. Would you like to generate? In a Canva. Oh, so it is telling me that you can copy paste this into Canvas. Yes, but if you had used the Canvas tool, then you could have directly put this into Canvas. Okay, okay. So this is as you can see the difference in responses here. Yes, a much more precise and better letter has been drafted according to what you wanted, exactly 3 paragraphs. Yes, you could also have specified the number of sentences in each paragraph and so on. Okay, it would do exactly as you say. Yes, but you have to say what you want. Yes, you have to be very precise. Okay. Okay, so this was example of one thing. Yes, let's go to the other things. Yes. So the other thing is also to specify often the audience. Yes. For example, yes, explain inflation. Yes. Now, inflation can be explained at different levels of details. Yes. Inflation can be explained to a professor. Inflation can be explained to even a middle schooler, yeah, in a easy language, yeah, or a high schooler, or a university student, yes. But for these different levels of background expertise that the audience has, uh, the LLM should know the audience, yes. Otherwise, it will generate some sort of generic explanation, yes. And here in the middle column, you see somewhat of a better prompt which says explain inflation to a first year college student with no economics background. Yes, giving quite a lot of details. Yes, uh, and is also saying that using a simple everyday example, meaning that also explain it, giving an example. Okay, often things are better understood if you have an example. Yes, so that's why if the audience is not specified, yeah, or misspecified, yes, then the answer might be too shallow or too advanced. Yes. So let's again try this out in our split window thing here. Okay. Now, the one thing I had told you earlier is if you're talking about a different topic, you should start a new chat. Yeah. Because you don't want to mix up different topics in the same chat window. Okay. But let me try it here. Let's see if Gemini gets a little confused with this or not. Okay. But from my experience, I can tell you that these LLMs, Gemini, ChatGPT, will get confused if you start asking about many topics in the same chat window. Okay. So let me, okay, again, this explain inflation. Yeah. My left side is the not so good prompt. Yes. So it will do some explanation. Okay, it explained at a simple level, and then it started getting a little complicated, and then it provided a lot of details. Okay, uh, so this may or may not be to your satisfaction. Okay, at least at a simple level, you understood something here. Okay, let's try the prompt, which is much more specific. Okay, and will hopefully produce a much more specific kind of response also. Yes. Okay, so it first, so this is the first sentence here is the nature of LLM to please you. Okay, remember I had said in the last video on this topic of the alignment or preference tuning. Yeah, LLMs are designed to please you. Yeah, the first sentence here is to please you. Okay, and you will see this very often happening with LLMs. Okay, um, to understand inflation, you don't need a complex textbook definition. Okay, so and then it gives you some explanation. Okay, inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices and goods are rising. Yes, and then it gives you an example. Okay, here there was no example. Yes, it mentioned a lot of things. What is the current rate of inflation and so on. Okay, but here this example is crisp and easy to understand and makes the concept very clear. Yes. Now it tells you a lot of other things. Why does this happen and why it matters to you? What is your cost of living? You didn't really ask for it, okay? But it tells you this, okay? Would it tell you this even if you? So let's try to not have this, yeah? Let me add something to the prompt here, okay? I don't know if it will work or not. This is something I'm trying on the fly, okay? Give me only the information I have asked for and nothing else. Okay. So let's see. Da, 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 da. It gave you this. Why does this happen? Why it matters to you? Okay. So it also is going on giving me this thing, even though I asked it to not give this thing. Okay. Now, maybe my instruction here was very vague. Okay, so let me try this again. Okay, give me uh, give me a response. Okay, only about inflation and the example that I have asked for. Do not uh, uh, respond with any additional content. Okay, now let's see if this works or not. Okay. Um, it produces example. Why does this happen? Okay, and that yeah, it didn't produce. It didn't. It stopped doing this. Why it matters to me? Okay, but it still did this. Why does this happen? Yeah, which I really did not ask for. Okay, so being more precise, maybe if I would be even more precise here, it will probably give me just the definition and the example and nothing else. Yes, but as you can see here, being more precise also makes the response more precise. Yes, and you can, and therefore you as a user can use this response more easily. Yeah, it is easier to read less text than maybe say this much amount of text. Yeah, and so. So that's why being precise here, here the preciseness was about the audience, yes, like who is the audience, and the responses were tailored according to that. Okay. Now there are a few other tricks that we are going to look at. Okay. One is this trick of using some examples within your prompt to guide the response of the large language model. Yes. So this examples within the prompt is also has a name. You know, these things are called as in context learning. Okay, what does that mean? That if you provide these answers, sorry, these examples within the prompt, you are sort of telling the LLM how to respond. Okay, you are telling the LLM what is the response style that you expect. Okay. I mean, it is called in context learning. I mean, sometimes it's called few shot learning. Okay. Few shot here means that you give a few examples and the LLM's response will be following the same style as the example that you gave. Okay. So here, for example, like you want a funny review of a toaster. Yes. Okay. So this is a okay prompt. Yeah. It's not a bad prompt. Yes. But if you want it in a particular style, something that you have seen maybe for in another context, this context here doesn't mean the LLM context here, but maybe you've seen somewhere else, then you can use that. Yeah. So what you can do is you can say that write a humorous product review in this style. Yeah. And then you give examples of the some reviews. Yeah. Like this blender is louder than a jet engine but makes smoothies. Yeah. And another example, yes. And then you at the end you say that now write a similar review for a toaster. Yeah. So this is much more detailed. Yeah. You have given two example reviews. Okay. There is some style inbuilt into these reviews. It's difficult to explain the style in English. Yes. But but you have given these reviews and the LLM will automatically be able to learn these styles. That's why this is called as in context learning. Okay. And produce something that follows the same style. Okay. So this anchors the tone, the humor, and the structure. Yes. Of how you would be able to do this. Yeah. For those people who do a little bit of coding, yes, you can use these kind of examples. For example, if you want to convert some XML file to a JSON file, yeah, you can put in an example here and then ask the LLM to do it for your actual case. Okay. So the risk here, of course, is that it might sort of imitate the exact wordings that you put in your example, or it might lose some creativity or originality. Yeah, it might just be following these examples too closely. Yes, that's the sort of risk for this. Yes, but let's look at what is produced here. Yeah, this is something that I have not tried yet. Okay, I'm doing all of this in the same chat window. But as I said earlier, you should not be doing that. Okay, if there are different topics, you should be doing these things in a different chat window. Yes. Okay, the Phoenix. So here, the Phoenix 3000, it made up some toaster name. Yeah, I never gave it a toaster name. Okay, and then it tells me a lot of things. Okay, maybe some of these are funny. I'm not reading all of these. Okay, but let me put this one here. Yes, and then see how this fares. Yeah, you see here the response was much precise. The example reviews were one sentence each. So this review is also exactly one sentence. Yes, and this one was like a huge review. Yes, so so that's where you can see that being precise, giving some examples of how the kind of output you expect makes for a much better prompt. Okay. Okay, so that's good. Yes, so this was one thing. Then reasoning. Yes, so we'll come to reasoning a bit. Okay, so as we had seen last time, that this Gemini, yeah, it has a reasoning model. The right now I'm using the fast model. Last time we had seen that there are different versions of the model, a model that can be used, not different versions, but different types of model that can be used. Yeah, there's a thinking model, which is also the reasoning model. Yes, and there is a pro version, or which has better thinking powers or better reasoning powers. Yes, so right now we are using the fast version. Yeah, if we use the thinking version, the LLM will be able to reason on its own. But you can also force reasoning. Yes, by asking the LLM to reason. Okay, this is the chain of thought reasoning we had looked at last week. Yeah, something of this, if you recall. And here also, the the non-reasoning kind of approach would be to not provide like a reasoning argument in the prompt itself. So this prompt here is just saying, if I have 10 apples, give 2, buy 4 and get 1 back, how many do I have? Okay, so it should give me a good response because this is a simple enough thing. Yes, if I have 10 apples, I give 2 away, so 8, buy 5 more, which is 13, and get 1 back, which is 14. So it gave me a good enough response. Okay, so because this is a very simple question. Yes, but if the same question was, if the same prompt was framed a little differently, yeah, right here, yes, like this, yes, so here also the answer is correct, yes, but you also see the response, yes, is uh, has more details, yes. It's the reasoning is sort of similar in these two, but it is sort of giving you a little more explanation in terms of the text, okay, and not just the numbers here, okay. And the answers, of course, both sides are correct. Yes, so that's not a problem. Yes, but if this was a more involved problem, this answer would not be correct. Okay. Now the same thing. Yes. Now here I'm using the fast model. Yeah. What if I use the thinking model, the model that does reasoning on its own? You do not have to tell it to do reasoning. Yes. If I do that, then there is some reasoning happening in the background. Yes, and on basis of that it produced again the same output here. That's fine, but there was some reasoning that happened, and you can actually see that reasoning. Okay, if you open this, you can see the reasoning that it did in the background. Okay, and I have tackled this, and it's a straightforward series of addition and subtraction. So it did its own reasoning. It produced a response which was exactly this. That response is not shown to you. Okay, But this response also goes into the context window of the LLM. And on the basis of this response, again, the LLM is able to respond properly. Uh, of course, this is a very simple question, so even the fast model gets it right. Okay. But if you feel that you have a problem which requires reasoning, it is better to have some sort of explicit things in your prompt itself. Okay. And even even after that, you should be using either the thinking model or the pro version. Okay. If your answering your prompt requires some sort of logical reasoning like math, okay, then you should be using the thinking model or the pro model. Okay. So that's about the step-by-step reasoning, yeah. But it never hurts, even when you're using the thinking model, to have a more detailed prompt uh, that has a sort of some a little bit of reasoning inbuilt into it, and it's not very terse, not very short like this weak prompt here. Okay. Okay. One very big risk with reasoning is that sometimes the reasoning can produce things that sound right but is wrong. Okay. This is again going back to the nature of the LLM trying to please you. It will try to please you by producing an answer which is wrong based on wrong reasoning, but it will phrase the reasoning in such a manner that you will might find it right unless you are really paying attention. So be very careful about this. Yeah, this can be a big problem. Okay, so be very careful about these things, especially for those students who are going to use this for math or coding. You can get wrong answers, even and finding out what is wrong can take you quite some time. Yes, so be very careful about these things. Okay. Now, a few other things. Now I'm going to go through these things a little more faster. Okay. Maybe I'll not show all of these as examples. Yes. So you have to, if you use delimiters to separate instructions from content and so on, that is often very helpful. Yes. So, for example, if you want to summarize if there is a news article, you want the LLM to summarize it. This is a weak prompt. Yeah, you summarize this article, colon, and then the news article. Yeah, because I mean, yes, there is a colon there, fine. I mean, the news article appears after that, yes. But what is even better is if you say things like summarize the text inside the triple quotes below in 5 bullet points. Yeah, this is very clear. Okay, you have said triple quotes here, and within the triple quotes is your content. And then you also have something about the output, 5 bullet points. Yes, you don't want the output to be like a 20 bullet points. Yes. So, so again, this is an example of structured prompting. Okay, you should be very explicit in what you want. Yeah, which is explicit constraints. Yeah, so explain how a car works. If you put this to Gemini, it's just going to produce a very big list of things. Okay, but if you don't want everything, yeah, you can say that explain how a car works in under 80 words. Yeah, you don't want to read a lot in the output. Yeah, so you say under 80 words. Do not use technical jargon. Yes, cars and autos, of course, have a lot of technical jargon. If you don't know about them, uh, then you will not understand the output. Yes, and assume that the reader has no engineering background. Yes, so it forces focus, it forces relevance. How does it force focus? By limiting the size of the output. If the output size is limited and the LLM wants to present the same information, then it will produce very focused information with using very relevant words and not being very verbose. Okay. Of course, if you constrain it a lot, if you instead of 80 words, I put 8 words here, yes, then this doesn't make any sense. The LLM will output something definitely more than 8 words and will output things that are awkward. Okay. Okay. So um, now the what I'm what the next few things will do is a little higher level thinking about prompts. Yeah. So what does higher level thinking here mean? Okay. So you can ask the LLM to ask clarifying questions to you. Okay. So for example, if you want to ask the LLM to create a workout plan for yourself, yes. Now the LLM doesn't know things about you. It doesn't know your fitness level. It doesn't know. So when you ask this, it will create a generic fitness plan. Yes. So I mean, this is same thing. Yeah, if you are in Rutgers and if you are asking this to create, for example, course policy for usage of LLMs. Yeah, if you ask to create a course policy for usage of LLMs, yeah, that is a very weak prompt. Okay, because you should specify what all uh, is there in your course. Yeah, is it a course on technology? Is the course on marketing? What is it a course on? Yes. Same way with workout, you need to specify some things about yourself. Yes. Now, at the moment we're creating this prompt, you maybe are not able to think clearly of what all to specify. Yes. But then what you can say is, okay, before creating this workout plan, the LLM itself can ask 5 questions. Now here, uh, the broader things are written, yeah, like about my fitness level, what equipments are available, time per week, and goals. Yes, you can make this 5 as 10 also. Yeah, it can ask 10 questions. Yes, uh, and you leave it to the LLM to question back about more specific details that you were not sort of able to think of in the first place. Yes. And the LLM is good at that. Yes. So LLM can uh, become a clarification seeking agent. Yeah. Meaning it won't just output a response directly, but it will seek more clarification, more information before it is able to generate this precise response. Okay. Of course, one drawback here is the questions can be sort of sometimes unnecessary or generic. Okay. Um, you will also see that for those of you who have been using LLMs for some time, they do have, if you have asked things long ago in the past, they have some sort of information about you already. Okay. So sometimes they will not ask questions that you feel that they should ask. Okay. Okay. The next thing is start broad and then refine. Yeah, main meaning basically you should not generate things in one iteration, particularly if what you're generating is a complicated thing. Okay, so instead of telling it to, for example, give me some perfect final answer, yes, you should do this in steps. Yes, you should first tell it is give me a high level draft. I will ask you to refine and improve it in the next step. Okay. So, so here you are not constraining the LLM to sort of give a very polished reply, okay? And it allows for correction. What does it mean to allow for correction? Yes, meaning when you say that you will ask it to you to refine and improve, okay? Meaning in the next step, the LLM will go and refine and improve the first high level draft that it generated. Yes. So in the next step, you could be asking, okay, so in this, the next row here, all of this is done in one prompt, but you could split this into two. First, write a draft, okay, get the draft from it. And then in the second step, you ask the LLM to critique it for clarity, missing assumptions, and possible errors. Yeah. So, so this kind of generate, then critique. Yeah. So this is the next step, critique. Yes. And then improve. Okay. Is a loop that's commonly used when using prompts. Yes. You generate something, and I think I have a separate slide for this also. Yes. This is, yeah. So the critique and fix loop. Yeah. So it's very often the case that you would first want the LLM to create a first draft. particularly if it's a big thing, yeah, because if you're generating a document of 10 pages, yes, you wanted to generate a first draft, okay, you can give it a starting structure. You don't expect the draft to be perfect, okay, but then you ask the LLM itself to act as a critic, okay, critique your own work, find what is missing, is the tone correct, and these are some things that the LLM will give you, and then you use those things in step 3. Okay, base you replay the critic to the LLM and ask it to revise stuff, okay, to revise the results, okay. So here, that's what's stating. You start broad, okay. You ask it to get a draft. You separate the generation from the evaluation or the critiquing process. Yeah. So the next step should be the critiquing process, okay, where the critic happens, okay. And then this loop, yeah, which is based on the critique that was obtained from the LLM itself. You ask the LLM to fix it. Okay, critique the above response as if you were careful reviewer. Yes, so this is what you would. This is where you will ask the LLM to critique its own response. Okay. Here again, note the use of a persona. Yeah, this as if you were a careful reviewer is giving a role to the LLM. Yes, so you gave it a role of a careful reviewer, and it critiqued this. Then either in the same prompt or in another prompt, you can ask the LLM to revise the issue, revise the document, okay, to address the issues that were identified, okay. So of course, a self-review often produces a good draft. So if you do these things sort of together, yes, this ensures that your final product, okay, is um, of a much better quality than if you were to sort of just in one go tell it your requirements and ask it to just generate a final answer. Okay. Now, this critic process, the evaluation, while the LLM is doing it, you can also have a human in the loop here. Yeah, meaning you can yourself look at the things uh, and uh, and find out issues in the first draft. Okay. You can add your own critic to the critic of generated by the LLM. Yes, because the LLM may not be a perfect critic; it might miss out on some things. Yes, and then ask when you ask the LLM to revise, you can put your critic along with the LLM's critic in place to do this kind of activity. Okay. So let's look at an example of this first draft, critic, and revise principle. Yes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use our Gemini tool. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to close the right view. Just let's have this. Yes. I am going to bring in a new chat because I do not really want to pollute what I'm asking with the previous context. Yes. And here is some prompts that I drafted. I mean, I used the LLM itself actually to draft these prompts. Yes, because this is about supply chain resiliency in the New Jersey pharmaceutical industry. Uh, and this is not a topic that I'm an expert on at all. But I am going to use this as an example. Here are three prompts. The first is to draft something. Yeah, it will draft a report on resilience and risk management in the New Jersey pharmaceutical supply chain industry. Okay. It is giving an audience intended for leaders, senior leadership, and it tells a variety of things that should be covered. Yes. Now, I'm not really an expert on these things. Yes. So I asked an LLM to generate sort of these things to cover in such a report. But you, when you're a student or your staff or anyone, yeah, whatever you are asking on, you should be well familiar with that. Yeah, that's one important thing. And therefore, the things that the report should include, you should make a list of that. Yes. And it is often a good habit to actually write your prompt in a separate document like this, uh, just because it allows you to collect your thoughts together and write a good prompt rather than writing it directly in the chat window, yeah, where you will be rushed and so on. Okay, you might hit enter accidentally. You don't want to do that, yeah. So just collect your thoughts together and make a nice prompt. Okay, remember all the prompt patterns that we have discussed. Yeah, you're giving a role to the LLM, you're calling it expert consultant, you are giving the audience is senior leadership. Okay, you're telling it exactly what to write. Yes, at towards the end, there is something about styling, professional styling, analytical tone, focused on executive decision making, avoid marketing language. Yeah, so this is not an advertisement. And I have also put this thing that make the report in Canvas. Yes, of course I'll have to choose the Canvas tool to do this. Yes. Okay, so this is my first prompt. Okay, and here it also says a draft. Yeah, meaning this LLM, this get telling the LLM that this is a draft. Yes. So I'm going to do this in Canvas. Yeah, because you see Canvas opens up this nice window on the side where you can look at the report and so on. Okay. So I am using the thinking model here. Okay, it's a slightly better model. If it's you're asking a complicated task, it does things a little better. Why is this a complicated task? Because I asked it to do the full report. Yeah. One other thing that you could have done is you could have asked this thing in separate prompts. Yeah. In one prompt, you could have asked not for the summary. Yeah. Like the end-to-end supply chain overview. Yeah. That's something you could have asked in a separate prompt. Okay. Key risks and bottlenecks. You could have asked in a separate prompt. Yes. We will see that that is also one of the patterns in prompting. You should break a complex task into smaller ones. But right now, I just put all of this in one prompt. Just for example, yes. But when you do it, you might want to break this up into multiple prompts. Okay. So here, okay, it generated some sort of a report, some sort of executive summary. It's following what I said, yeah, some end-to-end supply chain overview, and broken this up into multiple sections. Yes. And my next prompt here is asking the LLM to act as a senior reviewer, okay, and then evaluate the supply chain report, okay, and I'm asking it to evaluate it along some lines. Yeah, these are my sort of evaluation metrics, if you might, okay, and and then I'm asking at the end of the report to provide some sort of critical weaknesses that must be addressed, some key strengths, and so on. If you don't need the strengths, if you only need weakness, you can just remove this. And I'm also asking it a recommendation of accept and so on. Okay. I am also telling it don't modify anything in Canvas. Okay. I have put this in capital letters. LLMs do have that tendency where they pay more attention or are sort of follow the instructions, some instructions better if written in capital letters. Okay, that is true as of today. Okay, that might change with a new version of LLMs. Okay, but let me put that here. So I told it explicitly to not modify anything in this document, but whatever is the output of the review, it provides it here in the chat window itself. Yes, so it does it along those 8 lines. Okay, weaknesses and then overall recommendation. Yes, fine. Okay. So it didn't modify anything in the canvas. The next step is where I'm asking it to modify. Okay, I'm giving it the rollback. Okay, because before this, I asked it to be a reviewer. Yeah, if I don't change the rollback, then it is still going to be a reviewer. Yeah, so you need to change the rollback. Okay, these things are also called personas. Okay, and you're now revising this report. Okay, and then revise this. I ask it to do in a diff style format, directly addressing the critics point by point, showing the modified text, and clearly indicating in the chat window itself whether each change what does each change do, what it clarifies, what it corrects, and so on. Okay. I say do not introduce new sections unless required by the critic. Okay, and maintain again the I ask it to maintain the style as earlier. Okay. So let me give this. So once I do this, it is going to modify this document in the canvas itself. Yeah, yeah, that you can see by this thing that's moving here, that the document itself is being modified, and you can see some changes happening. Okay. And the nice part is it highlights the modified things. You can go and look at the previous version. Okay. The previous version also highlights the things that got modified in the next version. It also gives us a summary of the revisions that were made. Okay. So it corrected some sort of 2026 tariff exposure and so on. Okay. Uh, introduced a dedicated section on 2026 drug tariffs, yes, which is there in the new version, yes. And where is that? So it will be somewhere, yes, here. Let me look at the previous one, yes. Okay, I'll have to search for it. Yeah, so there is some mitigation for tariff thing that was put in here. The tariff environment was put in this 3.2, which was probably not there earlier in 3.2. Yeah. So there were some changes made based on the critique itself. Yes. Now you could also repeat this. Yeah. I mean, but often there is a sort of a diminishing return here. Yeah. If you do this many times, you will not see any improvement. Yes. Plus, I think one of the drawbacks, which is there listed on the slide also, is that it might change things that are really not required. Yes. So, for example, harmless things. Yeah. So for example, let's see. In the previous version, we were talking about AI driven visibility and domestic manufacturing capacity. Yeah. So this is part is in the executive summary. Yes. This is talking about the report outlines a dual track strategy, immediate mitigation, and long-term structural investment in AI-driven visibility. And so this one, it changed to AI-driven visibility, domestic manufacturing capacity, and energy grid stabilization. I think this is relevant, yes, because I think it is talking more about energy grid stabilization, which was not there. Okay. Immediate mitigation of trade and logistic bottlenecks was introduced. Uh, yeah, so regulatory word was removed here, which is not very sure. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's should still be there. Yes, it's not clear why it removed that. Okay, uh, but there are instances where it could make small changes which are really not required. Yes. Uh, so here, yeah, look at 3.1. The as seen in recent labor disputes, a 48-hour work stoppage can result in a 2 to 6 week backlog. Yes, and 3.1 here, a 48-hour work stoppage results in a 2 to 3 backlog for engineer due to it. Essentially has the same meaning, but why these words were changed is unclear. Yes, and this goes back to the point made on the slide is that the model really can over edit. Yeah, it might edit things that are fine. Okay, it might change the syntax just a little bit. Yes, which might not be very necessary. Yes, but okay, as long as it's harmless, that's not a problem. If sometimes it can also be harmful. Yes, sometimes it could remove things that are useful. Yes, and therefore it is very important to review this yourself. Okay. So see, like on Canvas, you have both the versions. Yeah, the previous version, the current version. You can review this yourself. Yes, and check what has changed, what has not changed, and appropriately combine the two versions to get your own version of the document. Okay. Now, this is, I mean, you might say, okay, I mean, I still have to do all this reviewing and all, but you're still saving considerable time. Yeah. If you were to generate this whole report yourself, that might take an enormous amount of time. Yes. Like an hour or something. Yes. But now you could generate this, revise this in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. And then your own review of it might take maybe another 10 to 15 minutes. So you have already saved 40 to 45 minutes. Yeah. So in that sense, it's still very useful. But do remember that you need a final review by a human. Okay. Do not just trust these things blindly. Okay. Okay. So that's good. Yes. Now this Gemini, this is now has a lot of interesting things, which is not exactly related to LLM, but once you have this report, yes, from this, it allows you to create a variety of different things. So some sort of quizzes. I'm not going to show everything. It's just not possible in such a small course. But some of these things you can discover yourself by clicking here and following these things. But some of the other things, as I showed you earlier, yeah, you can ask Gemini itself, yeah, what does this mean? What does that mean? What will it generate? So let's try to generate an infographic out of this report. Yeah. So let's do an infographic. Okay. It will generate some sort of a visualization. I myself am not sure what the visualization will be, but let's see. Okay. It's taking a little bit of time. I am not sure what it is doing. So it is reasoning inside of itself. Yeah. These, if you click down here, you will see this is the things that it is reasoning about. It is talking to itself. Yes. You can see all of this. Of course, this is a very detailed. You don't need to see all of this. But it appears what it is doing is it is generating a HTML file. Okay, so HTML is a way of visualizing. Okay, it is generating that, and is it done generating? No, it's still generating. Yeah, as you can see at the bottom, it's still going on and on. Okay, it might take some time. Yes. Uh, And I mean, the nice thing about looking at the HTML is if you know HTML, you can edit this yourself, of course. But of course, if you don't know HTML, you can ask the LLM also to edit this. Yeah. So you can look at the HTML code, but you can also look at how it would look. Yeah. This is how it would look. Yeah. It is quite amazing. Yeah. It has generated a number of pie charts, graphs, and stuff like that. Okay. So, so this is quite a nice property. Of course, this has nothing to do really with the LLM. The only way the LLM was involved here was in generating this HTML code, yeah, out of the visualization. Generally, LLMs are quite good at generating code. Okay, so this was one example. Uh, you can also, if I close this window, you can retrieve this back. Yeah, you can look at files in this chat, and there is a report, and then the infographic. I'll open the report. Again, from the report, you can create a different kind of infographic. Okay. You can modify the report yourself. Yeah, you can add a few things here and there, put a full stop and so on. Okay. You can share and export, as I think this is something I showed in the last video also. You can export it to Google Docs. Okay. So then this would get exported into Google Docs. Okay. And then you can sort of appropriately modify it here also if you need to. Okay. So, so that's something that this LLMs let you do in this draft, critic, and revise loop. Okay. Okay. Now, so this is sort of one of the patterns. Yes. Uh, this now there are other patterns. Yes. So. Uh, Sometimes you might want the LLM to sort of forget, okay, what you were doing earlier. Yes, you can ask the LLM to do this. Yeah. So if you have a long chat, okay, I already told you there's if you have a very long context window, long chat, it's not. The LLM becomes slow. Yes, if you have different topics in that chat window, the LLM will start getting confused. You can ask the LLM to ignore sort of earlier things in the context window, yeah, and start fresh using only the information provided below. Yes. So this sort of prevents your earlier part of the conversation, which were might be sort of irrelevant to what you're asking right now, to interfere. Yeah. Now this may work. This mostly works, but sometimes it may not work. Yeah. And sometimes it may be the case that your previous conversation parts have some relevant information. You thought that that's irrelevant, yeah, but you, because you discarded it, it's not used anymore, yeah. So you might accidentally discard useful information. Also, another thing that's not there on the slide, but I can tell from personal experience, is if you ask it to do this, it there is still some leakage from the previous content in your conversation. Okay, it does not completely forget it. Okay. Okay. You can ask it sometimes, yes, why is something correct? This is particularly true for if you're asking for things. For example, if you ask it about a math question, yes, and it gives you some answer for that, yes, then you can ask why it is correct. Are there assumptions that are being made? Okay. And describe some situations where it might be right or wrong. Yes. So, so these are clarification questions that you can ask the LLM. It will answer it, yes. And this is a good way to also understand if the LLM is sort of making up stuff, okay, which is called hallucination in LLMs, okay. And also uh, important for you to be able to precisely say why the LLM is outputting what, like producing whatever it is producing. Okay. So this is also another thing that is very critical, particularly for responses which are pretty short, where the LLM has not like given a detailed reasoning of why it produced the response. You can ask this again, and it will produce something. Yes, and maybe from that you can find out that maybe the LLM is wrong. It's making some assumption that it should not make. Okay. Uh, and okay, this is something sort of this related to the draft, revise, and critique. Yeah. So this is the like you should often, when you're asking to generate something, uh, uh, tell it that it is a first draft. Okay. And you can even ask it, what should I verify in this draft? Yes. So so these are some patterns that. So I mean, this is a big list. Yes, here. But there are some quick summaries here, like you can, I mean, it's very important to be sort of, uh, uh, for your instructions to be clear, yeah, to be structured, yes. Okay, so that's one thing that's very important, okay. Uh, the most important things here to sort of remember is iteration. You don't, if particularly if you're generating a report or something, you do not just get it in one go. Yeah, you get it, ask the LLM itself to critique it, and then ask the LLM itself to revise it. In the critique, you can add your own critique to it. Yeah, you can, if there is any weakness you identify which the LLM did not, you can add that to it. Okay. Be very precise on what you want. If you want the critic to not just output weaknesses but also strength, then state all of them. Yes. And also when to verify. Yeah. So this is saying knowing when to verify. I would say that always verify. Okay. Do not blindly trust LLM's output, please. Okay. Verifying often takes much less time than doing that same task yourself. Yeah. Then, for example, making the same report yourself takes 1 hour, but verifying might take just 10 to 15 minutes. Yes. So you're still saving time. And I would say that please do this always. Do not blindly trust the LLM's output. Okay. So, these are some things, but there are a few other sort of high level things which I'm going to state in the next few slides. Okay. I mean, this is again giving you sort of like what makes for a sort of good prompt. Yes. Not, I mean, there's nothing called perfect. I would just call good. Okay. Uh, like things include things like context, like I am a Rutgers first year student, and then it will understand what context you are asking a question. Okay, clearly state the task. Okay, clearly state the format in which you want the output. Yes, so you want some list, bulleted list. Do you want 3 paragraphs, 5 paragraphs? Do you want a table? Things like that. Do you want the HTML directly as output? Okay. If any one of you write in LaTeX, do you want LaTeX thing directly as output? So the format you should specify, and then of course the constraints either on the length or on the style and so on. Okay. So these are things that you should always have, irrespective of whatever prompt you are making. Yes. The other thing is the persona trick. Yeah, where if you are giving the LLM a persona, that narrows down what style of output will it produce. You can give it a persona of a professor, of a skeptical editor. See, note the word skeptical. Yes, if you just say editor is like a standard editor, they will give you good things, bad things. A skeptical editor will very much focus on the bad things. Yes. Peer tutor, yeah, another example. So specifying a persona is another broad thing that actually appeared in many of the prompts in that table that I showed you. Okay, table over the 3 slides. Yes. um, Chain of thought reasoning, it is always good if you can to put some reasoning prompts. Okay, where I mean you can ask it to, for example, think step by step. You can ask it to evaluate some facts. Okay, uh, you can ask these things even if you are using the thinking or the reasoning model. Yeah, there's no harm in asking these things. Okay, and that just makes the LLM think a little bit more. If it reasons more, the responses are slower, but the output is better. Okay. This is something we just talked about, so it should be fresh in your mind. The critic and fix loop. You first draft, ask the LLM itself to critic, and then ask the LLM to revise based on the critic. Okay. One thing that I really didn't do explicitly, but this is also very, very important, is task decomposition. Suppose you have to generate a report, and suppose it is the same report that we just saw today on resiliency and risk mitigation in supply chain, pharmaceutical supply chain in New Jersey. Yes. Now, you know that this has to be discussed along a few different angles. Yeah, one angle could be risks from cyber risk, yeah, coming from either AI or some sort of cyber automation. Okay. Then there could be other kind of risks which are related to the economic situation currently. Yes, and so on. Okay. So, I mean, you yourself in the mind could have these different categories. Yes. And instead of asking it to generate the report completely, okay, particularly if the report needs to be longer, particularly if this report is like 20 pages long, yeah, uh, you would want to break up the task into smaller tasks. That is called task decomposition. Yeah. So, and then you do the drafting section by section. Yeah. You ask the LLM, you make up the sections yourself. Yes. And then you ask the LLM to write each section separately. So maybe each section is just a page. Yes. So it's a smaller task. Yeah. So LLMs can do smaller tasks with a higher quality than do a big task, which the overall quality will not be that high. Okay. Now, breaking up this into section by section, yes, uh, you can decide the sections to do, or in fact, you can ask the LLM itself to generate outline, which is the sections. This structure is the sections. Yes, you can ask the LLM to create these sections without really containing any content inside the section, just the name of the section. Yes. And then for each section you call LLM separately. Yes. To fill in the content for that section. Okay. uh, that might mean that you might have these sections in sort of separate canvas documents. That's fine. I mean, you after that it's just sort of bringing them together. Yes. That also you can ask the LLM itself to take all those sections and put them in one giant document. Okay. So that's all good. There's one final piece, which is in that report. I actually didn't ask it to give me any sources from where it got the information, but often in reports you do need that. Yeah, you do need citations. Yes, citations are the sources from which you can get. From which the LLM has obtained that information to fill in the report. Yes. So it's sometimes important to ask it to explicitly put in the citations, okay? Because it might not. Yes. Now, of course, one issue here is it might just make up a citation. Okay, it's a citation that doesn't. It might point to a web page. That web page doesn't exist. That happens. Okay, sometimes. So what you can do in such situations is you have to manually check them. Okay, unfortunately. Okay. But there is another thing that I saw in Gemini, which could be very useful. Yes, is if you go here, yes. So this was ultimately the revised document. Yeah, if you go here and okay, now, or if you come up here, no, this is the visualization part. Yeah, this is the revision. Yes. Let me look at this. This is the revision. And this is my prompt. This is what it said it revised. Yes. It is. It doesn't show up in all of these, but maybe the very first time when I asked it. No. Okay. I think that feature is maybe not there on this Gemini. Yeah, but I think in the version of my personal Gemini, I was seeing a feature where you can ask it to double check the validity of the content. Okay. But okay, maybe it's not there in this version that we have in Rutgers. Okay. So, the idea of task decomposition is also very critical. Never ask the LLM to do a very, very big task. Very big task meaning generate a report of, say, 20 pages. No, you break down the task into smaller pieces. Okay. Maybe the 20 page report has 10 sections. Okay. So you might ask it to generate it each section at a time and then put them together. Okay. That also still saves a lot of time, but it also makes for a very higher quality report because the LLM can do a better job at each section rather than making everything together. Okay. Okay. Now, hallucinations, everybody of you should have heard of these terms. Okay. It really means that the LLM can produce output that's simply that sounds true, yeah, but is completely invented. It's not correct in some sense. Yes. Of course, sounding true and sounding confident does not mean that it is true. Yes. Uh, but the downside of sounding confident is, like, and this is true for human speech also. Yeah. Somebody saying something confidently makes it appear as if the person is speaking the truth. Yes. But in fact, it could be deceptive. Yes. Meaning they are sort of trying to make a lie into a truth by saying it confidently. Yes. So do not fall for that trap. Yes. You always be skeptical of the LLM output. Okay. You always be the human in the loop. And what this means is verify. Okay. Verify. I cannot stress upon this more. I have said this many times, but you need to verify LLM's output. Okay. You cannot trust it blindly. Okay. Okay. So one final thing about LLMs is the multimodal LLM. Yes, so till now we all talked about text. Yes, meaning LLM handling text. Okay, But LLMs are also really good at handling multiple modes, such as images. Yes. So we have already seen that you can use Gemini to create visuals. Yes. I'll show that example again. But you can also give it input as images and ask it to explain things in the image. Yeah. So this is the image of, I don't know what. Um, this looks like a cell in the human body or some other animal cell, okay? And it can explain to you what are the different parts in the cell of the human body and so on, okay? This is some math scribbled on a whiteboard, okay? If you take a picture of it, you can ask the LLM to also explain some of the math there, yes. How do you do this? I mean, this is coming from, let me get rid of this. Okay, and if you see, let me start a new chat. Yes. Uh, in this, you can upload files. Yeah. So you can upload images also. Yes. Now, I don't know if I have a good image that I could upload. Yes. Okay. This is an image from one of the courses that I teach. Yes. So this is something called a RSA algorithm. Let me just upload this. Okay. And let me say that please put this algorithm in the picture in the form of uh, uh, some a pseudocode. Yeah, this is some sort of a code. Okay, yeah, I'm just giving this as an example that it can fetch information from the image. Yeah, you don't really have to understand what pseudocode means here. Okay, but see what it got was it extracted the information from the image. Okay, and it converted it all to text. Yeah, it is telling me step by step what is going on. There's a key generation part, there's the encryption part, and there's the description part, okay, decryption part. Okay. So LLMs can these days understand images very nicely. Okay, they can also create images, which you have soon. So you can see this create image tool here. You can use this, and you can ask it to create a visual uh, showing um some good LLM prompting techniques. Okay. So it will create an image for that. Okay. I mean, this is just a very um, simple prompt. Yes. But you can ask it to do complicated things also. Yes. And it takes some time. Creating image is not that easy. Okay. But of course, it takes much less time than if you had to create the image yourself. Yes. So it created a nice looking image here. Yeah. So, and uh, I mean, it is using some of the same things that I had said right now. Yeah. Be specific, clear, provide context, use some examples, break down complex tasks, iterate and refine. Yeah. So quite a nice output. Yeah. Creating this yourself will take at least, even if you're expert, at least it will take like 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. If you're not an expert, this might take much longer. Yes. So there you see these things are really very useful. Yes. So I want to end this part uh, by saying that I mean LLMs have been trained on all of internet data. Yeah, this is something I told you in the first video. Yeah, it will have a lot of biases, stereotypes, and errors, frankly errors. Okay, that it will throw back at you. Yes. Your role is to be like a critical director. Yeah, you should using LLM doesn't mean that you completely use it as a black box, or you completely trust whatever it is output. Yeah, you have to be the master here. You have to be in control here. Yes. So Whatever the LLM is outputting, you need to verify that, okay? And make sure that errors, biases, even stereotypes don't creep into what you're generating, because that could lead to downstream problems. Yeah, if you use this report somewhere and it has some sort of offensive material, yeah, that could really be bad. But it is quite possible that the LLM can generate offensive material. Yeah. So please keep this in mind that you have to be in control here. Yeah, you have to be also an expert here. Yeah, you do not blindly trust the LLM's output. Okay, so with that we will conclude this module two. If of course, I mean there are variety of things that I have already told you that you should be verifying and checking. Yeah, especially if you're asking things about recent news, high stake math. Okay, so never treat a LLM as your emotional friend. Okay, LLMs do not feel emotions. Okay, uh, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Okay, this is my email. Okay, arunesh.sinha@rutgers.edu. My name is Arunesh Sinha, of course. And the next three videos in this AI certification will be done by Professor Kevin, who will be taking on this the next three modules of this AI certification. If you have any questions about these two modules that I covered, then please feel free to send me an email here. Thank you.